Right, I think I owe you guys an update video on my 500 litre 5-foot aquarium. And if you didn't know already, the star attraction of this aquarium is Alan, my crayfish. Now, he's not out at the moment because the light's on, so he's more nocturnal. He comes out on the prow when the lights go down. So stay tuned to the end of the video and I'm going to be trying to feed him a prawn. So fingers crossed he comes out and performs for you guys. Other than that, just sit back, relax and enjoy this update video of my big tank.
It's all about shrimps, simply shrimps.
Good day everybody and welcome to this video. So this is going to be a lowdown and update video on my big 500 litre 5-foot aquarium. Now I don't think I've actually done one of these videos yet on this tank, and it's been set up and running, established and mature for about 1.5 years now. So 1.5 years has gone and the fish have got big. They're not fully grown yet, but they're a lot bigger than they were when I first put them in, which I did make a video on, and I shall put a video up here somewhere for you guys to click on and check that out if you want to. Especially the bigger South American cichlids, they were literally like 2 inches or something, and now they're what, 6-7 inches, so they've more than tripled in size. Some fish have even actually bred in this tank, but we'll get onto that in a minute. What fish are in this aquarium? We can kind of split the inhabitants of this tank into 3 groups. The first group will be the cleanup crew, the second group is the sort of showpiece fish, the centerpieces, and the third group is Alan. Yes, that's right, he gets a whole group to himself because he's Alan. He's my crayfish Alan. He's awesome. So let's run you by the first group, the cleanup crew. First off, we have got bristlenose catfish or plecos, and they are just sort of a great fish to have in a larger aquarium for cleaning algae off of the glass and the ornaments, rocks, things like that. Going back to what I previously said, these are actually the fish that are bred in this tank. So originally I put in 1 male and 2 females in the hope that, yeah, they might breed. And sort of 1.5 years later, they have bred. Yeah, there's a fair few babies, and I wish I hadn't have put different sexes in, so I probably should have just gone for like 2 or 3 females or a couple of males. It's big enough tank to hold a couple of males without them scrapping too much. Nonetheless, these are still great algae eaters and they help keep the tank clean. Number 2 on the cleanup crew is pandagaras. Now these are also a great algae eater for the glass and the ornaments, as I said earlier on, but these get smaller than bristlenose. So bristlenose get to what, about 5-6 inches, males being bigger than females. Pandagaras, they probably max out about 3 inches, so yeah, a few inches smaller than bristlenose, which allows them to get in the nooks and crannies a little bit better. And also, I thought it's a big enough tank to have that many sort of algae eaters in there, but I'd mix things up a bit. There's a bit of different patterns and colour variations of fish that are actually in here. So in total, there are 4 pandagaras in here. Number 3 on the cleanup crew. Now this one has a little bit of a sad story because unfortunately one of them did pass away, and it's about the only fish that I've had pass away in this tank that I've kind of known about due to illness. And they are, or were, the Siamese algae eaters, not to be confused with Siamese flying foxes, which aren't as good at eating algae as the Siamese algae eaters. These actually target a different kind of algae, so instead of going for the sort of slime green algae that you get on the glass and you get on the rocks and things, they actually go for black beard algae, which, if you have an aquarium and you've had it before, it can be a bit of a, well, it can be a great pain to try and get rid of without dosing hydrogen peroxide or things like that. Amano shrimp are good at eating it though, but in this size tank, amanos would just get gobbled up, and yeah, it's a big tank, so I'd have to have lots of them. So originally I did have 2 Siamese algae eaters in here, and unfortunately one did pass away recently in the last sort of 2 weeks due to having a tumour. So there was nothing I could really do about that. It's not like it had a parasite and worms where I could have treated for it. It had a tumour. It actually grew on its left or right, I can't remember, one of its pectoral fins. As sad as it is, there is a little bit of a funny story that came out of this. We had some nieces and nephews round and they're just like little kids, and one of them come up to me and said, Nathan, look, the fish is carrying a little baby around. I couldn't tell them anything bad about it, so I was like, oh yeah, it's just looking after its babies for now until they get a bit bigger. So rest in peace, Siamese algae eater. And finally, the fourth kind of cleanup crew we have in here is Corydoras. And the variety I went for are the peppered cories. Truth be told, the reason why I went for peppered cories rather than a species like the stirby cories, which I really do quite like, panda cories, or fairy cories, they're really nice actually, is because they were a little bit cheaper. And being a small bottom dweller in a big tank like this, I was worried that Alan might pick one off every now and then. Having said that, these have actually bred in this tank as well, and whenever I do a water change, because cories, they like to spawn when cooler waters arise, so like in the wild, if there was heavy rainfall, then that would trigger them spawning. Whenever I do a water change, you'll see sometimes eggs scattered on the glass or on the smooth rocks in the nooks and crannies, and there has been a few babies of them sort of coming out every now and then, so they've bred successfully in here as well. Cory's a great sort of bottom fish, catfish, at rummaging through the substrate, keeping it kicked up so that the filters can then filter out all the crud and basically make your tank look nicer than having all the detritus on the bottom. So there you have it, that is the cleanup crew of this aquarium. Now we'll move on to the showfish, and there are 4 showfish in this aquarium, which are basically fish that I've got because I like them and they'll get to a fair size because this is a big aquarium, and yeah, they'll make people go wow when they come in. First off, we have an awaru. Now these are quite interesting fish because when you get them when they're smaller, they actually morph from being obviously smaller fish. They have a speckledy sort of pattern to them to help them camouflage in, and as they get older they get these striking markings, bright orange eyes, and a nice black, it doesn't sound that nice now I'm saying it now, but they're a nice sort of chocolate brown with a black mark on them and nice orange eyes. They are pretty interesting fish. The second showpiece fish that I have in here is the red spot severum. Now just look at it, stunning markings on its face, the intricate lines and patterns. And again, this is a fish that has grown a lot since being in here. I put it in, it was literally 1.5 inches, 2 inches, and now he's pushing on 7 inches or so, and he's still probably 2/3 fully grown, so he's got a lot more to go. Well, a little bit more to go. Also, it's bright yellow and orange. I mean, it's just a beautiful fish. The third showpiece fish that I have in here is an electric blue Jack Dempsey. Now, this is a really slow growing fish, like really slow. The others have completely overtaken this in the size that they've grown compared to what it's grown. Now I know they're a genetic morph from the Jack Dempsey and they won't get as big as the normal Jack Dempsey anyway, but the markings on it, the coloration, vivid blue, it's just spectacular. It's just something you don't really see that often in fresh water. In the marine side you get the blues and the bright colours, but in fresh water the vivid blue that it is just, it's just amazing, as I said. Then the fourth and final showpiece fish that I have in this aquarium is the black ghost knifefish. Now this is a shy oddball and they do come out more at night than in the daytime, so you don't really see them until I'm feeding them when the lights have gone on to nighttime, to the blue light. And the way that it swims is just so hypnotic. This has also grown a lot since being in there. When I made the video of putting all these fish in here, I think the black ghost knifefish was about 7 inches at the time, and I measured him probably about a month ago, so he's probably grown again since, and he was 12 inches, so 1 foot long. So that is a 5 inches of growth, and he's got a lot more to grow, but I love seeing him pop out every now and then to feed. It just kind of swims like that. Now, if you've stuck around this long, you're in for a treat, because this is the part of the show where it's all about Alan my crayfish. I'm going to try and coax him out with a prawn. I'm going to put one on these tongs put it in the tank and see if we can get him out so he will perform for you guys. Now I put Alan into a category of his own, category number 3, just because he's amazing. Like, seriously, he is the boss of this tank, and I mean, he'll keep everyone in place. However, the Awaru, I swear to God, he likes to play chicken with Alan. And what I mean is, Alan will be there sort of munching on some food on the floor with his claws out, and the Awaru will literally want to try and eat the food that Alan has in his pincers. And Alan will kind of like, whoa, get away from me kind of thing. And yeah, I'm surprised that he's still alive, really. Funny story about Alan is, when I first got him, I thought he was a completely different species of crayfish than he is. I actually rewatched my first ever YouTube video that I put on this channel, and I spoke a little bit about him, introducing him as Alan my crayfish, and he is Procamberus aleni, hence Alan aleni. Turns out when he got a bit older and developed the red claws, he is an Australian red-clawed crayfish, or Churax quadricorinitus is how I pronounce it. It's probably a little bit wrong, but Churax quadricorinitus. Though we'd been calling him Alan for a fair few months before we realised this, and hence the name stuck. Size-wise, he is now probably about 8 inches from rostrum, so the tip of his head, sort of nose bit, you can kind of see it as, to his tail. Head to tail, rostrum to tail, he is 8 inches, about, what's that, 20 centimeters? If you add his claws on top of that, that's a further like 3 inches, and then his antenna, literally with his antennae added on that, he can probably go around 1/3 of this tank, like stretched out, which is insane. So there you have it, that's the end of this video and the end of the breakdown of my big 500 litre aquarium. Let me know in the comment section down below what your favourite inhabitant of this tank is. If you did like this video, then don't forget to whack that thumbs up, and if you're new to this channel and like this kind of content, hit that subscribe button down there as well. And I shall see you in another video. Thanks for watching, see you later.
It's all about shrimps, simply shrimps. Let's keep things shrimple with simply shrimps. Do 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 do. Yeah!